First item, approval of the February 4th building committee minutes.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Item number 2, facilities update. Mr. Toddy.
Hello. Facilities update, I'll start where I always do with custodial. Under the February break, we were able to dig into some more deep cleaning and disinfecting. The grounds crew has been largely focusing on covering openings in the custodial staff due to quarantines or vacations is coming to the use it or lose it break point on vacation. So we were trying to get people to get a break if they had one coming. Maintenance has been engaged in daily work orders, no heat calls, overheat calls, the standard sort of thing, and also assisting in the projects listed below here. The first one of those is at the Chamberlain School. We were able to install a new hot water booster for the dishwasher. And one of the hardest things in our buildings with regard to domestic hot water is we're supposed to provide, I think it's about 107 degrees to a sink for hand washing, 140 degrees for general hot water, and 180 degrees for sanitization of dishes in the kitchen. 3 different hot water temperatures, one hot water system. So this booster allows us to crank up the temperature just in the kitchen at the point of use, so we're not risking scalding in any other parts of the building. So that was installed and working at Chamberlain. Gonic and ERS, the roofing project, we originally had 3 kindergarten roofs. All 3 of them are complete now. We completed Chamberlain earlier, and now we've completed ERS. In the top right here, you see the Reach building, the freestanding building. And Gonic, there's 2 pictures because there were 2 sections. In the back, the kindergarten is this lower section you're seeing here. We also picked up this small vestibule section, and then the section in the front of the building was also completed. So that project is 100% complete now, and we have 20-year warranties on all of those roofs.
Is that next to the gym? I'm trying to understand where that is.
Yes, the higher roof, this higher roof section,
Oh,
that's the
gotcha.
multi-purpose
Yeah,
room.
I got you.
So the kindergarten sits adjacent to that's the lower,
Yep.
lower section of roof.
I was trying to figure out where in the building I was, sorry.
We've been working in the Bud Carlson in the cafeteria space, and I can't wait to show you some before and after pictures. The after pictures aren't quite ready yet, so I'm going to show you some during pictures. And you can see the stripped out, there was probably about 6 different generations of flooring in that space. Some of it required remediation for ACVMs. All that's been taken care of. There's a gorgeous new floor in there now, and we're working on getting the food serving area all set up. And stay tuned for pictures next month. You're going to be really impressed with how that looks. Spalding High School washer and dryer. Out of the kitchen equipment line, we were able to install a newer, larger washer and dryer at the Spalding High School. It sits now in the loading dock, and this allows us to, not only the kitchen staff uses it for their kitchen cleaning, which the original equipment served, but now we can also pick up the custodial cloth products and clean them there instead of shuffling them back here and sending them back. So this has taken a lot of stress off of the washer and dryer in this building, where we've got 2 large commercial centers now throughout the district where we can handle laundry. Coil cleaning. We do power washing of the coils on a 3-year rotation. We do all of the elementary schools 1 year, we do all of the middle school the next year, and we do all of the high school the following year, and we continue through that rotation. We just completed the high school over February break. And the picture on the left is a little distortion because of the fins of the coil, but the bottom area here you can see the fuzz, the dirt built up on the coil. And that's the place where nasty bacteria likes to hide in there. So the after picture, you can see that's all gone. You can see a little glistening in between the fins, and that's just the soap still sticking in there as it's drying. But all of the coils throughout the high school were cleaned and disinfected. That was a good project to get done. Additionally, we completed a reprogramming of all of the burglar alarms throughout the district. And thank you to Justin Roy for reaching out to me from the high school and saying, hey, it's been a long time since our alarm has changed at the high school, maybe we should put in a new number. And I thought, that was a great idea, why don't we do it across the board? So all the schools now have new codes. February vacation, we were able to complete the quarterly inspection and maintenance of all of the fire alarm systems, as well as all the fire suppression systems. And that's a big undertaking involving several different contractors. That's complete. We completed CPR friends and family training for the custodial staff. All of the day custodians who are in cafeterias when students are eating. It seemed like a great idea because they're there when somebody could have a choking problem. So we set up some trainings for that. All those people got trained. I'm very happy that was completed. We had a battery recall on the electrostatic sprayers. About half of our batteries were recalled. So we had to do some shuffling to make sure that we had working sprayers in all of the schools while we sat those batteries down, photographed them, cataloged them, got replacements. That's all complete now, so we have safe working batteries in all of our sprayers, and all of our sprayers are back up and working. I'll end where I always do with work orders. Work orders completed from the period of February 5th through March 4th. We completed 88, and that's down from 118 in the previous reporting period. We created 110 new work orders. That's up from 77 in the previous reporting period. That gives us a new closing ratio of 1 to 0.8, which is down from last reporting period, which was 1 to 1.25. We now have open 134 work orders, slightly up from last period at 112. And 134 is a fine, acceptable number, so we're looking good with work orders. That's all I have for facilities update, so thank you.
Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Connie? Go ahead, Paul, I can see you.
Oh, yeah. So the washer and dryer at the high school, is there somewhere else in the district you think that may be a value add? Something we should keep mindful of going forward? Should we look at, is there another, having that at the high school has reduced the load here. Is there another school that might make sense to look at something similar?
Given the cost of this setup, I think we're good with two.
Okay.
Yeah, I would, we could talk about putting one in the middle school, but they're not cheap, and I think we can manage with two. Is taking a lot of the load off. I think we're fine.
Okay, thank you.
Right?
I think Dave was up first.
This question is prompted by the Arena and Recreation Commission looking to control access to the recreation department next door. Given that spring sports are coming up, are our facilities at the football field going to be available for spring sports, or are they?
Facilities, those facilities can be brought online within a matter of days. So as soon as I get a schedule from Director Hebert of when his games are going to be, we can turn on the water as soon as we're out of freezing danger. That's the biggest concern.
Understood.
there.
Given that the recreation department's trying to limit access, there was apparently a lot of use in fall sports with people coming in to use the facilities over here. It's just so we don't get caught off guard or whatnot. So.
Sure. Thank you.
I'd like to say thank
Anyone
you.
else?
Sure.
Ryan?
Yep. I'd like to say thank you for getting CPR training. That's a huge thing. Make sure that they have some type of safety training. I think it's paramount for all groups to have that. And to add on to that training, it'd be good to have bleeding control training also for all staff, just in school buildings themselves.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
Like a bleeding control classes, that kind of
Bleeding
stuff.
control. Yeah.
There's some other classes out there, but I think it would be good. Any of those classes are great to have in smaller groups like we're in right now.
Could you repeat that for us in the back here?
Oh, sorry, so I'm thanking for the good CPR education on becoming CPR certified or trained on that side of things, and also looking into bleeding control classes for within schooling systems, within the elementary medical, just having somebody in the buildings who understand how to handle major bleeding in situations in case they need to. Heaven forbid you have to have one of the nasty situations like they've had in the past over like active shooter situations, but anybody who can control bleeding is what we need to have in those situations.
Good, good idea.
summer.
Anybody else? Sarah, I'm sorry.
Just back to the laundry real quick. One thought I was wondering, in the middle school, we have the FCS, Family Consumer Science classroom with washer and dryer. Could you utilize those at all for the cleaning
We,
cloths?
we have in the past, and we could if we needed to. The equipment here does a better job with better chemicals, better temperatures, better spin speeds. It's just, it's a commercial setup. It does a lot better job.
Okay.
But yeah, we are fully aware it's there, and we will take full advantage of it if we need to.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anybody else? Thank you very much. Next item would be the building committee budget. The building committee basic budget pretty much was,
Audrey, we have the field storage building bid.
I'm sorry, get us speak up.
Sorry. Oh, there's an updated agenda. Never mind. Here.
Yeah.
We got the wrong one. Sorry.
So do we have any recommendations on the basic building budget? I mean, everything is pretty much at zero, I think. There wasn't a lot. Maybe move on to the CIP,
Actually, Audrey, I do have a few building items.
okay? Okay.
Under 2600 operational plan for dues and fees. I know we're talking small numbers here, but still, there's an increase of $90. Is there certain dues and fees that we are looking at potentially having this year compared to previous years?
I don't think so. Typically what his staff does is get specialized training. But of course, during this year, there isn't any that is available. Everything is virtual and actually probably at zero cost. So we're just hoping that we can still do some kind of training with the guys for next year.
We also had our one asbestos certified employee retired, so we no longer have that training in-house, which we are supposed to have. There have been no trainings offered for the past year, so as soon as that training opens back up, we need to get a guy asbestos certified, and that's what we're hoping to achieve there.
That makes sense. Thank you. The other item I have under 2620, maintenance of buildings, we have a $400 increase regarding line 543 compared to the previous year's budget. I don't know if there's a item that comes to mind of that slight increase.
What was that number again now?
543 under section 2620,
Top line, second
the
subsection.
101, 145 in
Yeah.
2021, which is $400 more this year.
So we're hoping to, if you remember at the beginning of COVID, we distributed microfiber cleaning cloths to all of the teaching staff. And we've had good response from that. We're hoping to expand the microfiber cleaning cloths to bring the kitchens in, to have kitchens use those cloths as well. Right now, the custodians use them. Post-COVID, we've given it to the teachers, and we want to get them into the kitchens as well. Right now, the kitchens, the stuff they're washing is kind of a hodgepodge of a lot of different materials and fabrics, and we kind of want to standardize that.
Logical.
And the other question I had was for 2630, repair and maintenance, first line. Historically, we've been looking at about $6,000 a year, maybe $7,000. And we're looking at budget 11,280, which I know is the same as the previous year, but still a little bit of an increase. I'm just being mindful of the budget this year. Is there something that is pointing to that increase?
Tree work. It's tree removal. We've been spending about $7,000 a year additional on tree work around fence lines and perimeters and stuff over modulars at Chamberlain. There's always more trees to remove. The fence line at Chamberlain is overgrown. Behind middle school, there's just always more trees. Some of these red pines right out in the front of this building. So it's all directly correlated with tree work.
Thank you, Mr. Todd. All I have a question?
Go ahead.
That's all I have for questions
Oh, that's it.
on the budget.
Anybody else? So can we move the building portion forward?
Yeah, do we want to review the CIP line or?
Well,
They're
is
two
it
separate.
two separate
Okay.
budgets, all right? Building and then the CIP.
I'll make a motion to accept the building budget as presented.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye?
Aye. Any opposed?
No.
Okay, so we'll move on to the CIP.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. You'll see three columns in two sections. The top is bonded, the second is cash. The first column is proposed. These are the numbers that went before last month. The middle column is what we're proposing that we cut out of the budget. And the column all the way to the right is the new proposed budget. I don't have to tell any of you that this year was a strange year. And when we started looking at the budget, we realized that there are still some cash CIP lines from the current fiscal year that are funded for projects that didn't happen because of COVID. We were doing other things. So that, with realization of that, were 20,000 that we had proposed for plumbing and HVAC, electrical upgrades, playground, a lot of these things. We have money in current CIP lines that we just, this is kind of this one time, this funny year, we're able to remove them. Normally, we're always got that going on. This year, we're able to remove it from that amount. I highlighted the vehicle upgrade line because it's a name change. It was 30,000, we knocked it down to 15,000. And originally it was vehicle replacement / upgrade. I'm just calling it vehicle upgrade now. And this is for the lift gate on the rack truck. We really want to get a deeper lift gate. Right now our scissor lift gets moved and it doesn't quite fit on the lift gate. The lift gate's not deep enough. We want to improve that and make a safer situation there. There was some discussion last month about the boom lift. The boom lift is still on here. And I want to thank Mr. Watson for his suggestion that I reach out to the city to talk about their budget and their needs and see if they were interested in partnering on a lift. I spoke with Public Buildings and they have money in their budget for a lift. However, they're not interested in partnering on a lift. The lift that they're seeking to buy is of a different functionality. In my opinion, it's less functionality. It has no wheels. Well, it's a tow behind. It's not motorized. It can't propel itself. But Public Buildings feels that that's the lift that serves their needs better. Putting a motorized lift on and off of a trailer, they don't feel that that's going to help them out. So we did approach that and try to get that done, but that's not in the cards this year.
Go ahead, Mark.
Just curious, Mr. Tavia, are there other places where you cooperate with the city? Or is this a common thing where you ask and they say no? I would imagine that there's some cooperation between,
Yes, we cooperate, we work together as much as we possibly can. We're together in this building. We work together around elections in our schools. We work together around the rec department's part of the city. We work together all the time. This is the first time we've talked about joint funding a piece of equipment. And I think that separates this a little bit. This isn't, we haven't co-purchased anything before since I've been around, and I'm unaware of any equipment that we own that's jointly held.
have you ever been asked by the city for use of equipment that you have that they need?
It usually goes the other way. We access, the DPW has the big vacuum trucks that clean out catch basins, And we borrow generators from Dave Green over at wastewater when we need to. So that, our equipment is, we don't have quite the extent of equipment that the entire DPW has. So usually the borrowing of equipment goes the other direction.
Thank you.
I just want to say thank you, because the goal that I said last meeting, you exceeded it, and seeing this, I'm actually really happy now about the building committee budget, so thank you, I appreciate your work.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions? Go ahead, Matt.
While we're on the topic of buildings, I guess. Are any of the cuts that you've made, are these things that'll get us into trouble years down the road for lack of keeping up?
Deferred maintenance is not a thing that we want to get into. It's not a road we want to go down. I believe, I wouldn't have presented these if I didn't believe we were okay for this 1 year because of the surplus in COVID, the spending, and we got offset from grant money and different things. So I don't think that we can look at the cash CIP next year and expect it to be 379 or less. It's going to bounce right back up to, that $500,000 mark, or maybe more. We'll have to see where we're at then. But right now, I think we're okay.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Paul.
I would like to make a recommendation, we accept the cuts presented by Mr. Toddy and a total cost savings of $138,500.
Second.
Any discussion? Go ahead, Bob.
What was planned for the softball field?
Well, thank you, that was in bonded before. We had, I took that out because there seemed to be some discussion about it last week. We're hoping to achieve something with the softball field when we get further through this year and we see what general repair and maintenance money and grounds money is left. We're hoping to be able to do a facelift on the softball field.
What would it entail? What type of work?
Removal of rock and resurfacing.
Okay. We also had a lot of discussion about the sod.
Yes, sir.
You left that in, you think that's a priority?
I think the sod.
Cut.
Oh, that's cut, that's
Yes,
cut
sir,
too,
cut.
okay, all right, yeah, okay.
Anybody else? We have a motion and a second. Who was the second, I'm sorry?
One of the max.
One of the Matts.
One of them, just put Matt.
So all in favor of the CIP budget?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great job. Thank you, Mr. Potty, for all your hard work.
Thank you, Miss.
Next item is 5-year plan.
The only thing I can think of is the presentation during full board of the GIS stuff, if we can get that up and running. That's it.
Do we have any public comment? No? Any other? No?
Listen, I get a lot of crap for this.
Oh.
I'm done. You gotta stop talking about buildings.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.